This is a senior photo, and this kind of shows that catching who they are on it. So this guy, skater kid. He's got his indie style, his plaids blowing in the wind, his like awesome retro glasses, and he didn't want just like I'm standing against a wall flexing or like look at me, I'm a prep. He wanted something that represented who he was. And, he's kind of skateboarding in a parking lot. Like, that's not supposed to happen, Like, he's kind of a rule breaker. So, we both really like that photo.
Yeah, I like that, too.
And this is just, again, you see there's a lot of depth. And a lot of the pictures I like to take have different dimensions that are very deep and up close. And this is actually taken on a basic phone, like a basic camera phone.
Oh, really?
And then sent to my computer where I enhanced and had to really work on the, the clarity of it. But it was a really cool day catching the light on the train like that. And that train is not even running anymore. It's just sitting there for decoration. And I love doing, like, the color pops, which seem to be really popular with people, like in the senior pictures, as you saw before, like, where the picture is just kind of one color and then has the bright flower. And I like the way that the lines in the background kind of show that the stem has that little kink to it. Like, as it grew, something happened in its growth pattern right there to change the way it is and kept on going up. It's kind of encouraging. Mm-hmm. And just another high contrast, beautiful shot. I have this photo also when it doesn't have as black around the edges, and some people, prefer it more of just a very basic, flower shot. But I personally like to make everything I like very unique things. I'm kind of doing my photography sometimes just for myself. But people seem to really like this one too.
It's so vibrant.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought those in because it does kind of show different dimensions of some of the work that you do.
Yeah.
Are you showing your work anywhere?
Yes, I have it displayed in a couple cafes throughout the Portland, Tualatin area. And then I have a wall that's part of a booth at Saturday Market in McMinnville, which is amazing. And I love being there and the atmosphere of all the vendors and the art and the live music. It's awesome. And then hopefully here in a couple months I'll put it back up at my work at Starbucks and, we have a local artist wall actually, so you can scout out some new talent from there. Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah,
it's really cool. So I'm really excited because next month we have a girl coming in who's senior in high school, and she's like, oh, this is so cool to have an art wall. And it's like, do you do art? And she's like, yeah, I like to take pictures. And so here she is, and like, it's so cool to think that she might be where I am in just, a couple months, a year. Like, she might be actually like taking on her hobby as something that she can be passionate about and pursue as a career eventually.
One of the things I think is interesting is that your father was so encouraging, of you, even as a young person, said, gosh, photography is, some people's parents would say, oh, you should become a CPA. It's a good career. But your dad said, you should be a photographer. And I think that's so interesting. Are your parents artists?
My mother is the most creative person I know. She can take the most boring, basic, dull thing and turn it into a masterpiece in an instant. And her handwriting is just naturally like calligraphy. And our house has giant chalkboards and has birds and it's just really, she's so artistic. And my dad has actually designed several like really nice libraries, like the wood carvings, handrails and wood pillars and stuff in Portland. Like he's a very good woods worker, but he's actually now he makes drums like cajones and bongos and stuff. So he's a hands-on artist kind of. And my mom's an incredible painter and sketcher. And then but they didn't grow up. I didn't grow up in a free-spirited home. I grew up in a very strict home.
Well, you said you went to Western Mennonite.
I went to Western Mennonite.
So clearly it wasn't, just a free-for-all.
And Veritas. And I think the reason they sent me to private school is because I was kind of a crazy kid. They were always struggling with me. My whole life I've been very strong-headed, want to do my own thing. And then even in the private schools, it was like, did she go to class today? Where has she been all day? And, it's, I'm just outside shooting pictures of the flowers. And so I think they kind of pushed the photography because it's like they knew that I was very passionate, but I have this, severe ADHD, and I can't sit still, and I hate math, and I don't like to talk to teachers when I get called on and I can't speak in front of crowds or anything like that, you know. So I think they kind of like.
I can't imagine that you can't speak in front of crowds.
I am like.
That makes me laugh.
I think it's because I overcompensate because I am like the most extremely shy. Like it is so awkward for me to even think about meeting new people. I'm like, oh.
But you know what? At Starbucks, you seem like the friendliest, most fabulous girl.
I have to, or I would just be like a clam on the espresso machine. So I have to like overcompensate, and that's why I'm so like loud and crazy. So, fun fact, I guess, about me. But yeah, so I think my dad just knew like, well, this girl's personality, she's gotta focus it on something, and it's not gonna be medical, you know. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's really interesting. I mean, because a lot of people try to push their child into, like, in spite of the ADHD or in spite of this or in spite of that, you should still completely change your change your personality and do this other thing. But the idea of saying, wait, let's kind of work with the creativity and artistic talent that she does have and go in that direction. I think actually I'd say that you're probably really, really lucky that you have such supportive people around you, because it sounds like you really do.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to, raise my kids similar to the way they raised me in a lot of supportive ways, how they've been so supportive. And they've been so supportive, like, even just since the last couple of months since I've been doing this. So it's been really awesome. And, man.
They may have wondered, oh, my God, is she ever going to find herself? Oh, what's she going to do? So when you found this, they said, oh, great. Oh, great.
Catch on, don't let go. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think most parents are really, eager for their kids to... Yeah, to make a success of what something that they really love in life too, though, because it's really important that you're happy as well as whatever success looks like for you.
Mm-hmm. I see these people that are in jobs where they don't like their jobs, and I honestly cannot, I could not work a job that I didn't love. Like, I mean, I could if I had to, but I am so glad that I am at the point where I can kind of just be enjoying what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Kind of, it's really important to me, or I'd get burnt out.
Absolutely. I mean, and I know that I asked you if you take a lot of pictures of your son, and you said at one point that you did, and now you're trying to back off and create a balance. But but obviously you do well photographing children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a journey to photograph children because every single photo shoot is completely different, and this is why I think I first started out looking at other people's pricing. I was like, why do they charge so much more, like $10 more per person? And it's because to get families have 10 kids to all sit together and smile, wow, that's going to be an hour's worth of sweating and finger puppets and tap dancing or something, so.
And wait a second, what about the Christmas photos where Dad's got the funky red sweater vest and
Gosh, Christmas photos are a nightmare.
A friend of mine told me that her son and his girlfriend went to a Christmas party, and everybody was supposed to wear an ugly sweater. So he wore a women's ugly Christmas sweater.
Not uncommon these days.
I thought that was really a cute idea.
Nice, yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, I like the fact that you have so many directions that you can go. I mean, the real artsy kind of thing, or nature photography also, or just portrait photography, but kind of with a twist, trying to find that,
Yeah, I definitely am not very normal. It's not the run-of-the-mill senior photos, with the, girls looking all, beautiful and sexy. It's these are funky pictures. If you want to have unique senior photos, that's when you come to someone like me, I think, It's kind of more my knack is to do something a little
And you know what I think is cool is when I was way 300 years ago in the 70s, when I was having senior photos done, I remember seriously wearing, that powder blue, a furry drape thing, it was like a stole, so it was your shoulders here, and I had a stupid shag haircut or something. I mean, it completely didn't go the formal piece with the girl
it's not who
inside.
You are,
And what I think is great about you is actually you do have that very whimsical, sort of childlike quality of playfulness and fun. So, and sometimes I think it might be true that we'll just say senior portraits or even weddings, sometimes they're pretty formal and they're pretty, they're capturing a mood, but with you, it's kind of about life, really bringing life to what you're doing and making sure that you're representing the person and not just taking a great picture, but actually representing the person inside. And I mean, it's like photography with spirit, I guess.
That's exactly what it is. And for me, I've always hated, when kids couldn't be themselves or when kids are bullied for being themselves or for being different or anything like that. So I like to try to just almost push people to like really show who they are and to be so comfortable in themselves when I'm, you know, this is you, like show your inner beauty, show who you are, your personality, because I can't stand it when people don't feel comfortable, you know, being themselves. I think that's such an important thing.
Well, maybe because you say you've struggled with shyness, which, you know, it's interesting because when I was a kid, I was really shy too. And people say, oh my God, you could never have been shy. But I was. I don't know. Is that something, that little thing? And however we learn to compensate for that, we do. But the idea that you can maybe have some empathy, having been in that situation yourself, to try to draw out the person and say, it's okay, you can relax with me. And
Yeah, I was definitely the awkward middle schooler that always wore, like, the baggy sweatshirt. So, like, now I, like, meet people and they're like, you have really pink lipstick. I don't remember you like that, you know? Like, they're, like, always like, you're Allie Winstead? Wait, who's Allie Winstead? You know? So, I guess I wish I could have, like, showed off in middle school a little more, like, who I was and let my light shine. So I try to encourage that with other people.
I think that's fabulous. Yeah. And so I know that you said you have a website. So even though we can't say the last part, you're going to tell people how to find you.
So I am Googleable. That means you can type me in the Google box as Allie Winstead Photography, and that's just ALY and then W and then the word instead and then photography.
Oh, how cute.
That's how my dad used to always say it. After him. And then I'm also on Facebook, and So,
and then you do have, so you said you're in a few places in Portland. Do you have any shows coming up in particular?
I really want to get into, every summer my mom and I we always go to like art festivals all over around like the Corvallis Art Walk and the Carlton Art Walk, and I really want to be a part of all of those this summer. So I'm really excited to see all the vendors that I always go and like watch and be a part of it. And like Linfield's new thing that they started.
I was thinking about that
this year. I hope to be able to get in that. And the only setback would be like pricing type stuff. You know, like how do you get in on those things? Is it really expensive? Or, you know, so I'm excited, but it's, you know, I've never done it before, so I will see.
Well, you know, there's some people that you could actually talk to about that, but I think a lot of them really are interested in emerging talent, you know, which I suppose we could call you, and really try to make it affordable for people. Sure. Yeah. So you can kind of get out there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope to be spending the summer in fields with smell of elephant ears around me and
the smell of elephant. Really quick, what kind of a camera do you typically shoot with?
So for any kind of small up close still life, I prefer to use a like $400 kind of cheap digital Canon Power shot or shoot 1.0 shot. But for like portraits and anything like that or anything that I'm really gonna have to get blown up or anything like that, I do use a Nikon D300. So I think that's 3100. And there's, you know, I want to really get some new lenses and stuff that I'm really looking forward to, but they're like $500 a piece. So it's kind of like you get a lens at a time. I've got two. I've got the third one right there on the horizon, you know. So, so I use just a basic one, which is like an encouragement to anybody out there who wants to shoot photography. You can use a basic camera. Like, you can just get a cheap digital camera as long as it has, like, get a 10, 12 megapixel, and you'll be able to shoot photos, and you can make it quality, and you can print them. This was done with just a little, I think a 10 megapixel digital camera, and it's obviously blown up and clear. So you don't need to have a fancy camera to be a good photographer. I wish I could shoot all my stuff and be taken seriously with just like a little one, you know, because
it's so portable and easy to get around. Yeah,
it is. Sometimes you have your like camera bag with your lenses and your camera and having to have a lens cloth, and so.
Well, thank you very much for being here today. Yes. I've really enjoyed learning about you, and I can't wait to see some more of your work.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me.